I'm John Wunderlich, President of the Ossining Historical Society, and we're here at the reception. It's the kickoff of the bicentennial for Ossining, New York. You ready? We're going to start with number 1. We have approximately 58 pieces on display at the Ossining Public Library. This first piece, we'll go from 1 through 58. And first piece, some places are lost. They've been lost to history. This is the McCord House. This house burned down back in the 1970s, and it was destroyed after that. That took a lot of buildings out. This is down by Nelson Park. This was down by the building right there. There's two duplexes down there now. But look, the architecture. What's the big thing about Ossining is the architecture we had. It had a lot of mansions, even in a closed area. It had mansions. A mansion there, right all down Highland Avenue. There's mansions upon mansions on these dirt roads. Just as we go through, you'll see a lot of different types of architecture as we go through. Number 2 is Park School. Again, that's about 1900. The architecture is fantastic. The Park School that we have now is in the same place, but this one was knocked down. If you have any questions, just poke in. Anyway, but again, look at the dental work on that. This is fantastic workmanship, and I'm always sad to see these buildings go, because as they disappear, what gets in this place are just boxes, because it costs less to build a box than it does to build all these architectural designs, and such.
Was that a brick facade?
No, that's not a brick facade. Those are brick buildings. So many things were built in brick.
No, it was a brick build. It was brick.
Yeah, absolutely brick. It was probably 3 foot thick brick. Yeah, they were very thick. There were so many brick factories along the Hudson River. You had them up at Croton Point, you have them in Kingston, you have them in Newburgh, up and down this river. The clay was fantastic.
Haverstraw.
Yeah, Haverstraw was a big brick place. A lot of bricks in this area. Number 3 is the Ossining Gun Club, and I love that shot. You can't really tell where it is, but it's behind the high school, and it's probably up by the Macy property, behind Carswell. Carswell was General Aaron Ward's building, and we'll see that picture later on. But they had the gun club. You can see where it drops off, so it couldn't have been right behind the high school. It had to be up on the hill on the Macy property. What I like about, and I find personally interesting, I have a silver cup that was given my great-grandfather, Franklin Brandreth, from the Ossining Gun Club, and on it you have all the names of all the big people from town, Washburn and this person, and the Ackers and such like that. So that's personally, I might end up with that one in my house somehow. This one we use in a lot of our advertising. Number 4 is the 5 Corners. 5 Corners was famous because it was 5 corners, not 4 corners. And this one is about 1900. And as we blow these pictures up, it gets interesting because you start seeing details that you don't see. Here you have these guys working on the poles. They're probably starting to get wired for the trolleys that are coming in. And also you have workmen, a lot of people watching the work. A lot of people like to watch work. Everybody's a supervisor. This building is still there. These buildings got burned out in the 70s or 80s. But look at them up on the poles. They have their suits on and their bowler hats. And I find that curious. Everybody was so Victorian back then. But also, if you look at it, when it blew it up, you have chickens in the road, you have dogs, you have the horses down there. And on Spring Street was called Spring Street because there were springs and they had a pond down there, and they had the cow pastures down there. So this whole place must have smelled just like a farm. That's a very cool shot.
What year was this? Do you know?
This is 1890, because the trolleys aren't in, and you'll see that as we come along, because the tracks went in around 92 to 95.
What was that year again?
1890.
Was that the Yerkes company at all? Yerkes, there's some Ossining's folks with the last name of Yerkes. Were they associated with the trolleys at all?
I don't think so, but I don't know.
Okay, because there was a Chicago family that had Yerkes.
And a lot of trolleys come out of the West Coast. They still made a lot of trolleys out there.
Okay.
So the one looks like a dirt road?
It is a dirt road. It's a mud road. They're all dirt.
Little carriages.
Yeah, aren't they fantastic? Yeah. Okay. Number 5 is the promenade. This is the double arches. As moving into town, this is not from the glass plates. Most of these photos are from the glass plates that came from the Slater collection. And with the Slaters, they didn't take the pictures; they were surveyors. But as the photo shops went out of business or selling off, they kept on buying all the glass plates. So at the Ossining Historical Society, we have about 4,000 glass plates from that collection. We've had to enhance some of these because some of them have fingerprints on them and they got burned into it from the oils or stuff like that. But we got little cracks, so we cleaned them up using Photoshop and such. But this shot is just from our archives, not from the glass plate. But here you have the promenade going into town, and if you look at in the older shots, you'll see these churches all had these tall steeples. And that would be probably 1880s, 1890s. And then later on, about 10 years later, we got all those storms we get here, you see all the tall steeples are gone. All the churches had those big tall steeples and then just wiped them out. The storms come, yeah, as they got blown off. You know, they can imagine that thing coming down at you. But that's a great shot, and you start picking pieces out. Like all the wooden buildings that got replaced later by concrete, or the factories. There were so many factories in this town. All the fencing, you know, there was a mill down below this, which we'll see later. Anyway, that shot's a little grainy, but when you step back, it's cool. But just looking at that shot of the Ossining. Trinity Church, which is still there, of course. And look, it doesn't have the trees growing in it yet. And this is a big warehouse building next to a big wooden building. They ended up getting that and turning it into a parking lot. But Trinity Church is a beautiful, beautiful building. And you can tell where the light is. The sun's coming from it's going towards the west at this point, because the whole thing is just almost bleached right out on that. Number 7, here we have trolleys are in, so it has to be 1893 or later. You start see all the wiring they were putting in. You got all the wires for all the trolleys going up and down the streets. You still have the horses going on, but now you have the trolleys. And this is also the post office. There was a post office down there. It was not a bank at this time. And then, of course, all the canopies. I remember when my mother used to park on Main Street, you walk down one side of the street, come up the other, and you did all your shopping. You had so many stores in there. And Ossining was quite a hub. It was actually the main hub of all the towns. You could shop anything like this. Number 8 is another shot. This is when we blew this again. When we blew it up, I found it curious. This is about say the 1900, circa 1900. Trolleys here. You have the back of a trolley. You have a trolley down Spring Street. But when we blew it up, I found it curious because here's a set of broken axles off a trolley. So somebody had a blowout. And broke the axles right off. So that's probably why they took that shot at that point. It's probably the first major breakage. It must have been. I don't know what they would have done to fix that.
So is this building?
No, these all came down during urban renewal. This is all Spring Street, so all these buildings got taken down. All those buildings. This is the parking lot for the post office, and then this is all Market Square now. But also a lot of these wooden buildings got burned out, and they got replaced later with brick buildings. But urban renewal took a lot of things down. Their charter was to they couldn't fix what you have. They had to tear it down and rebuild. But of course, the cheapest part of any job is demolition. So who did cost estimating? After they tore everything down, they said, oh, we're out of money. So what happened? Who did the cost estimating on that? You know, oh, we're out of money. You did the demolition. So they tore down about probably over 60% of our town and just walked off. Yeah, we were without a town. You remember that? It was
absolutely.
Horrific.
That's
Over
right.
the other side of this. Nice map of Ossining, 1862. A lot of people ask the question, well, how can that be Ossining 1862 if we were Sing Sing? Well, what happened was Ossining the town of Ossining is different from the village of Sing Sing. The town of Ossining got its charter in 1845. And so we were still village of Sing Sing up to 1901, and they switched that name in 1901. They wanted to go away from the name of the prison, so they changed that to the village of Ossining in 1901. But all these were all etchings. I think people would pay cash to have their houses put in it. You have Greenmont House, all these Sing Sing houses. Sometimes you'd have the factories down the Arcadian Gardens. That was down. That's where Arcadian Gardens, the shopping center. That's where that is right now. When I was growing up, they still had all the glass houses down there. When we were heading to school, they were all glass houses. And then they brought it up and that was the start of the demise of Ossining, because it started pulling the heart out of the middle of town.
What do you mean a glass house?
Well, they're the glass house for all the greenhouses.
Oh.
It was Arcadia Gardens. It was a big garden center.
Yeah, there must have been about 50 of them, and they were huge.
Yeah, there were huge glass houses. I mean,
Took up that
rows
entire lot where Arcadian Shopping Center was all greenhouses.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And it says Locadian in the caption.
Yeah. Yeah. Number 10, early shot of the train station. It's on the ground. All the cars always used to travel across the tracks. There used to be little plank boards going so you could drive across them or take your buggies around. This is probably around 1900, 1905. That's a just iconic little train station coming through any of these little towns. And then you have a train station. Well, this isn't an old shot. I'd say this is about mid-70s, but it's a good shot with the lights and everything like that. and I'm basing it on it being about 1970s, because they hadn't raised it yet. GM, which was down in Tarrytown, had made a deal with our government of New York State that they, to keep their plant there, and they were making their minivans, they had to have bigger cars. So they had to raise all the train stations up, I think it was 3 or 4 feet. So they raised them all up, and then 2 years later, they left anyway. So what was that cost to taxpayers? It's like pretty incredible, right?
So when was that building
I don't know
built?
when that was built.
I think it must early 1900 as
Well,
well.
I think it was later 1900s. I think it was 40s or something. like
No,
that.
that's not the
30s,
style.
40s. You don't
That's not
think
the
so?
No, it's 1901, 1910. Stylistically,
That's about 1900 right there.
yeah.
That I don't have a date on. Never looked it
Okay.
up. Never bothered with it. It was just a cool shot. These two shots I like putting together because here's a church down by Sparta, and it was put down there because at the Sparta docks, it was pretty. All the docks were pretty bawdy areas. They're pretty rowdy. So they put a church up there, hoping that all these wharf workers, the seamen, and all that would come up there on Sundays, repent their deeds, and it failed miserably. They weren't interested in it. And which this other one comes. This is a church that was over that's still in Crotonville. It's the Fraternal Order of Eagles now. Was put up as a church for the area, and it also didn't work out that well. It went on for a while, but it was just a church, a little bit. They had some church schools and stuff like that there, but it also failed. Now it's a bar. So I found those two cotton pieces interesting. It failed that miserably.
Is that one?
That's the mayor's house.
Oh, that's the mayor's house now.
Yeah. And that,
Really?
and I
That
told
street,
somebody-
Fairview Place is the name of that street?
Yeah,
sure.
that's
I think it's
Fairview.
called
Yeah.
Fairview.
But somebody
Yeah.
called me up because of all this bicentennial stuff, and because they want a shot of this one. And they lived there for 50 years. They moved in there, their family moved in there around 1930, 1927, and they lived there until the 70s. So because of all this bicentennial, you're getting information you didn't have before. You're getting more contacts, which is fantastic. I mean, 'cause usually when I have a large crowd here, people say, oh, my grandfather had this, or my grandfather did this, or whatever, and they have photographs. Well, I got some photographs for you that you won't have, you know. I found one lady called me up, and she's had shots to clean out her attic. Family's been in the place about 100 years, and they have all these shots of her grandfather's blacksmith shop down on Spring Street, and all these great shots. So things keep on rolling. Because of this, we're getting more information that was kind of obscure.
For the tricentennial, you'll do that more.
Well, I probably won't be here for that. Well, what's interesting about the centennial thing, it was a centennial, I found information, my grandfather was on centennial committee, and what are the chances that I'm on the bicentennial committee?
Wow.
I think that's very curious. It is funny, about funny.
Great.
And he had to be about 21 at that time. This, a lot of people don't recognize this of all,
I do.
but this is Highland Avenue heading south down the Hollow, so it's actually heading north down the Hollow, and this is Croton Avenue. It doesn't look the same because you don't have the traffic on it.
But I
And then
recognize
this was the bank, this is about 19 or 1905, that was torn down, you'll see in a minute. And then this statue here has been moved a couple times. It was originally down by Nelson Park, then it went up to Pleasant Square, which this whole area was called Pleasant Square, and this is over by Chomark right now.
Right,
That's
that's why I recognize
And
it.
which is too bad because here you really recognize it, a lot of people don't even realize it's there. You just drive past it every day.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it blends in a bit.
Yeah, yeah. So this street here, this
It's
one,
across
this
from
Highland
the-
Avenue going north, this is the same street. This is about 1955 to 1960 based on the cars. But this is that same street going down, so you can see how that changed.
The same street
Yeah.
as that?
Yeah, this is that same street. This is Highland Avenue going north. This is Highland Avenue going north, going into the hollow. But you see, I mean, you can see it's slightly run down this side of the street. So this part of the area kept on getting run down fast. Most of the business was really up on Main Street and down in that area. This house is Francis Larkin's. We have trouble locating this one. The best I can think is it's either up on M. Wilton, because Francis Larkin had two different pieces of property, but I get a feeling it might be on 4th of July Hill, which is also Independence Place, which is off of Broadway, and it's overlooking the river. But nobody has a real identification to where this is. But looking at the old maps, you can see where Francis Larkin had property. That's all we can really base on it. The Kane House.
Yes.
Well, we had so many mansions in this area. This Kane building, this is still here.
Oh, it is?
And that's where Elron is building up their duplexes, or the townhouses, right across from Tony's Shoe Repair.
Oh.
And so, but if you look
They
at...
did not have...
No, they're not, they're using it for their main building, because it has a swimming pool behind all that. And so, but if you look through the fence, you can see that building staying there.
Oh,
And I'm
so
so glad they're saving it, as opposed to knocking it down. But You drive down, you look at that building, what a beautiful piece, but you need to put a few $100,000 into it to bring it back up to
So
par.
the river is back there?
Well, this is, it's looking towards, this is Route 9 on this side, so this was looking, the river's that way.
Oh,
But when you, if you look through the fence, sometimes the fence is open, look at it, and you can see it. See it right there.
those are rental, they're going to be rentals.
Well, they keep changing it. I think it depends on what the market's doing. If the market says, hey, we can sell them, they'll sell them. Right now, everybody's renting, because nobody wants to buy them.
Yeah.
So that just keeps changing. We'll go over to wall 2.
Okay, go.
Number 18 is St. Augustine's Church, and that was on Route 9. Where this location is, this building, what a beautiful piece of architecture also. And you can see the river behind it, or the Palisade Mountains on the other side. But this was built in 1857 and was destroyed in 1980. St. Augustine's bought property up the road, up north on Route 9, and so they put more of a, they needed a bigger church to need more parking lot. But across, so this is right across from Cablevision is, and that Cablevision was their school, so that was their Catholic school, but they just needed more room, so they bought the Mary Immaculate property and put a big church up. It also used to be the Powder property up there, but it's a
Powder?
Was that?
Powder property?
No, Potter, P-O-T-T-E-R. But look how beautiful that structure. That thing was built to last forever, and it probably would have lasted forever.
So they knocked it down?
They knocked it down.
Demolition.
Yep, down with it. And the building that you see up there now is the rectory that was behind it. So they made this all into a parking lot. Number 19 is a curious one, because 2 weeks before we put the show together, and it took about a year to put the whole show together, but then this thing arrived. This came out of Arminio's basement. John Arminio brought it over. And it's a great child. They call it a Fairchild. It was taken from a Fairchild aircraft about 1930. But here you see all the all the Macy farms, all like that. And also, just to keep a note, here you have a big gas tank. See how much commercial stuff you have in the river. This is Rand McNally. He used to make maps and stuff like that down here. Here's the train station. So this is 1930. So here you're correct. Here it's elevated by 1930.
Yes, right.
But I never looked that up, so I don't have that
Yeah.
information.
I mean, the architecture is really
Yeah,
1910.
yeah. And then as you go, also see, you have still some steeple chapels. But here you have the Carswell House, and that's Aaron Ward's. Here's the high school over here off Route 9. So this would be curious when I got some few shots of these three places here. It's 3 places because the addition to the high school took over this. They knocked down Carswell to put this addition up. And which is amazing, because he was a lieutenant general in the War of 1812, became a governor of our state, and was very important, very prominent with a lot of presidents and stuff like that. And it was all made of Sing Sing marble or limestone. The whole thing was built with that. And you look at that building, why didn't you save that building? He was a very important man, influential throughout the early to mid 19th century.
Where would Sing Sing prison be?
Sing Sing prison would be down this way. Okay, here's the train station, so he'd be down this way. South of that. But that's a great shot. I've been getting a lot of requests for this one to be reproduced. We might reproduce it. Let's just,
Right, right.
This
So
is
what-
high
you
school
can
as
see
it
what
is
it looks
now.
like.
This is
Yes.
where the new part of the
yep,
high
yep,
school.
yep. And I have 3 shots.
And with,
Yep.
this is Walden, there's Dee Dee's house,
yeah.
Dee Dee Emerson's, and this is where we live, right here.
Okay.
We live there, oh, we live on Holbrook Road. So where would that be?
That'd be keep on going
Oh,
this
your
way.
way, oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this way.
So, and this was before all the 19,
Yep.
yeah, because the 1950s
Yeah,
houses.
yeah, that whole, you can see the whole development.
Priscilla
Yeah,
and Al,
Yeah.
and then,
Yeah.
yeah.
Where would Phillips be now? Would that be
Phillips will also be
Phillips
down.
is over
Down here.
here.
Oh,
Right,
Phillips is
exactly.
right behind our house.
Yeah.
We have that wall. I would love to see what was there before,
that was probably part of the Mason property.
owned by a family named Spire. And they had this huge, like many acres.
Yeah, well, everybody had a lot of acres, because there was a lot of land. I mean, by 1930, look how big it is, but in 1850, it wasn't. I mean, the town was really just still coming up town. It was a big fire, but we'll get into that. In fact, that was about 1856. Number 20 is the double arches, where you had the Croton Fireworks on it. There was a bunch of businesses that were down by the water just because they had mills, so they made files, stuff like that. So that's about 1850, or maybe 1860. And here it is around 1900. Fireworks are all gone, but the water's still going the same direction, of course. But it's from the same shot, same angle. So So it's kind of curious. And you look at some of these maps, you'll see, like I think this map will show you how many pieces of property down by Double Arches were owned by people, whereas now they're public. And so again, so this is about 1900, but same, pretty much the same location. Yeah. This map, a lot of people want us to reproduce it, but they'll probably get sticker shock when they find out how much it costs to reproduce it. But this map of Sing Sing is 1852, and that's where if you start looking at the Double Arches like that, you can see all the properties that were owned, and also a lot of these streets have changed names as time went on. But here you got, a lot of people would sponsor these maps, and you have, here's the Croton Fireworks. There's the Croton Fireworks. You know, this is, I mean, it took up a good-sized area. You have the Brandreth storage facilities. You have another part of the Brandreth factory.
And it's interesting, Main Street was High Street, and
Yeah.
South Highland was Main Street.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's curious, right? Yeah, this is our one of the house I live in right now, and you have the hotels. We had so many hotels in this town, and this was before they put the mansion roof on, because
So was Philip Van Wyck
yeah.
was the owner?
Yep. So that house has been in 2 families in over 200 years.
Wow. So when was that house built?
1812.
Wow.
My grandfather ended up, my great-grandfather foreclosed on it. He probably lent them money and whatever. We had a lot to do with banking. But these are great maps, because you can see the development of it. Look at all the orchards. Everything was agricultural. And a lot of the farms would be gentleman farms. You'd have some, like the Potters, he was the head of SEC down in the city, and he had good money, but he had a big farm. He had about 1,000 acres up this way, where Mary Macker was.
Wow.
Well, but they had that land back then.
Yeah.
I mean, the land was available, but there was so much of it was agriculture. And everything was agriculture back then.
It was interesting because that house here got moved to the next lot, and that's before the big Gothic buildings was changed.
What is my street now?
Mud Street is now,
Yeah, I don't know.
but that is,
Was that Emerald?
no,
No.
Emerald.
Oh, on the other side.
Is,
So you have southern, there's eastern,
South
there's
side.
southern Avenue. I don't think Emerald was in there.
no, it's not yet. Emerald is gonna be.
Because as these orchards got busted up, they started putting streets in.
This is probably the new Maurice, I would say. Emerald is.
Might be right here.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Alcock's Products, made in Ossining. That was the Brandreth family. And here's a shot of the Brandreth factory as it was in 1900. There was a big fire in about the 70s or so, and a lot of this got torn down. I have another shot of the Brandreth factory as it was in 1850. But that was, Alcock's Products was a mustard plaster. We also made the Brandreth pills, which is a cure-all pill. It's a purgative, basically a laxative. So that's I had to pull this up. That was always been our attitude. Don't miss good times by feeling bad. It's kind of interesting.
So a laxative would make you feel better.
No, it was a purgative. It was a purgative. Purify the blood. That's basically what it is.
Oh.
Why he was so successful, because there was so many cure-all pills, but with the Brandreth pills, you had something that happened. It wasn't like you took something, you didn't know something happened. It was explosive, an explosive reaction. Yeah, some of the old pills, we have some of the old wooden boxes, that says dosage 2 to 20. How do you feel? Feel a little bloated? This should clear you up a little bit. It's like,
20.
that's very funny. And he was a master of marketing before his time. And he believed highly in heavy advertising. Here's another map. This is not 1910, Ossining, New York. We're no longer Sing Sing. But you see, still you have the bank of savings, the bank without the clock. I say without the clock, because it had a spring in front of it, so it was a horse trough for feeding out of that. And here you have more of the gardens, greenhouses, you have all the hotels. This one's basically set up with just businesses on it. Here's the bank at the bottom of Main Street, back by the Five Corners. But they're great little etchings. And this is an interesting one, because most of the shots are looking from the river towards town. This one's looking from, like the Macy property, looking out towards the river. So it gets it from a different perspective. But it's so much fun looking at the maps. Yeah, the detail is fantastic, isn't it, John? Yes. Hey, Bob, how you doing?
All right, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Doing good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad you stopped by.
Yeah, no, this is no picture of it. It's going to be about plumbing.
Okay, there you go. And where was Lemon Plumber? That was on Main Street?
Yeah, across from where it's across from where the new post office is.
Okay, right.
Is there. Actually, I got another, I don't have an extra copy of this, but.
See, so this is what happened because of this bicentennial, because of the show, we keep on finding more information.
This is a shot of the same building.
Okay, so
1885.
So Bob Lemmy's, obviously Robert Lemmy, he's not the same one, but this is your grandfather's shop?
Great-grandfather.
Your great-grandfather's shop.
Do me a favor, can you hold that up, John?
Yeah.
Let me get a shot of that.
And so this is what has been happening because of this show. We're getting photos that we just didn't have access to. We don't have in our files at the archives. And this is on Main Street down by, across from the post office. And what he was finding interesting, because on this map, you have the Lemmy building right there.
This was 1885.
1880.
Roberta Arminio, who, like I was telling you about,
yeah.
she gave that to my dad back in the
Really?
80s.
Yeah.
And she wrote on the back all the information of who was in front of the
What
store.
did he sell? Did he sell like bathroom stuff? What did
Oh, he was a plumber. He was a plumber. Steam heat.
This sink looks very modern.
Yeah.
That's
still
about
making 'em.
129. It's really nice. Oh, 107.
107 is down.
So 107.
Well, the steamer firehouse is what, 117?
Well, 127.
125 is Doka's.
No, yeah, and then one.
Okay, so you're going south.
So
You're
this is
going,
south.
going
There's a
west.
pizza. If
This,
you look now across there, it
this,
looks like a pizza place that
Right.
has pizza in front of it.
Right, right.
It's not operating right now
Yeah.
because I was looking at it again the other day, and it's
That's
right
right.
across from the post
That's gotta
office.
be that one,
Yeah.
yeah. Let me see what's good. But this is a really interesting one.
Yeah, that's great. You ought to put that
I'm
on
gonna
some-
blow it up, and that's why I said if you find anything that would be interested.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
you
well,
find anything on that other
Yeah.
photo,
yeah.
just because I'd like to pass it on to,
Right.
I'm passing
Sure.
these on to my kids.
Sure.
I mean, I have
Right.
7 kids, it would be great for them.
If you need them framed, let me know, because I frame out of my farm.
It'd be great to get a copy
Yeah.
for the society.
Yeah, but he said that Roberta gave it to him, so she took it out of the file.
She must have it someplace.
So I'll have to take a look, but I've not seen that one, so.
Okay, yeah.
The next shot is of the Leatherman, and Leatherman is kind of mythical. Nobody knows much about him. Some people think he's French, but we think he's autistic because he'd walk about a 360-mile round trip. He'd go through Sing Sing, he'd go all through Mount Pleasant, go into Connecticut, come back around. But people started timing him. He did this every year, and they could set a clock within 2 hours. He's come to the same place every time, every year. He'd be at the same spot. He had certain caves he lives in. He lived off of handouts, or some of these tailors or those leathermen would they'd give him leather from the boot shops and stuff like that, so he could repair stuff. But he didn't talk much to everybody. But he ended up dying in a cave in Ossining. He's buried down in our Sparta cemetery. We just moved his remains about a year ago because of how dangerous it. He was put in a pauper's grave, which was in the back of the cemetery. But the back of the cemetery did not have Route 9 at it at the time. The Revolutionary Road was the old post road, and so that was the front. So after they put the road in, then with so many school kids going near there, they're about 10 feet away from the road, and there's people going about 6 miles an hour. So we found it was a dangerous situation. Also, we got a chance to excavate the area and take a look for his remains, but we didn't find much. We found some coffin there, so everything was gone. The soil was such like it was somewhat acidic. This is a tabletop from my house. This is of the Random Pill Factory. It was hand painted onto a tabletop. But this factory as of about 1850, 1845. And see that now what's interesting about this, everybody thinks that the water starts where the tracks are. But before the tracks went in, the water came right up to the shores of where all the mountains come down. So you had all that shore like that. Good playing, though. It's good piano. Yeah. Have to go and check it out. Yeah. So anyway, so that's why, and this is what he used for all his advertising. Anything of Ben Grant's, he put that on everything. He had paintings done, all of his labels, all his advertising. Always had the factory, had the house, the old house that he bought. That was a Gothic that got knocked down. But anyway, so the pill factory is in disarray right now, and it's going to probably be knocked down sometime. But anyway,
Where is that?
that's Graham's Pill Factory, down by where yeah.
Now when you go on down in there, or to the right, like you go up to your property?
Yeah.
There's still a little piece of that.
No, we had a big painting, but it got burned up on fire, the original.
Yeah,
I could, but I want to get this one clean, see if I can pull the colors, look at those colors.
It's great, just like the sunset,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and see the way they had a little road built up off of brick, and it came around, and that's where the point is. If you look at that painting over there, that's at the base of my house, and so it comes around, that's about 18, that'd be about 1855. The tracks run in between 49 and 52, but you come around that bay, and that's at the base of our hill. But I'm getting ahead of myself on that.
Where's your house looking?
Right down off of North Water Street,
Okay, up on the
up
hill.
on the hill, the yellow house up on the hill.
Okay, the yellow house.
Yeah,
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 okay.
yeah.
Boy, we
Yeah.
had that view a while
Oh.
ago, huh?
Yeah, all the, and they filled out to the tracks, and all that sand, I'll get into that later, but that came from Croton Point, as they put the tracks in. Number 28, again, you have down at the Five Corners, the Fauché building, beautiful buildings. This is Lower Main Street, looking looking west, go towards the river, and this would be Spring Street. So you have Main Street, so you have, we tried to get as many photographs in here to catch different sides of the Five Corners. The Five Corners, as I said, was as an impressive place. Most towns would have a 4 corners in a town. We had a 5 corner. Here's another shot. This is the Lower Main Street. This is Lower Main Street. This is the building that's still there, but they changed the facade on it. This is Central Avenue. This and here you have the tracks. This is about 1900. But see there, where you see that building was the post office. It later became a bank. Not much later became a bank. But I don't know how these horses used to die around 7 or 8 years old. Now they live to be about 28. You know, but look at the work they'd be doing, carrying things up and down those hills like that. Yeah, they just working with that.
Is this building, let me ask, is this one over here at the corner?
No, this one, well, this is Central Avenue, this is Lower Main Street. This building is over here,
Okay.
and then Spring Street's here, and this is
Okay,
Lower
oh,
Main
right.
Street.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep,
Yep.
yep.
That's where the parking lot is now.
Yeah, this is where the parking lot is, the post office. And then number 30, same spot. Like I tried to put some of these in some kind of order. So here, within 10 years, they changed the facade of the same building. They changed the roof line, they changed the whole facade, they put the stone on the outside, and now it was a bank. Post office, I'm not sure where it moved to, but this is probably about 1910. But it's the same thing. This is one of the maps we reproduced. This is 1891. Again, it was 1891. 10 years later, it was the village of Ossining. But this one, I like this one because the colors in it. Now, if you look at the original one, it was all hand colored, but it's a nice piece and it blew up nice. Also, we used that in the journal, so when you shrunk it down, you didn't lose so much of it. Some of these maps are so tight. That was part of the prerequisites of this, to bring it down. It was a nice map. Number 32, we're looking up Main Street, so we're looking east. And this is where the old Kips building was. Well, you have the parking lot there. These buildings burned down. I think that was, it was in the late 70s they burned out, or 80s?
I think it was late 70s.
Yeah, late 70s, yeah. But you lost these buildings. The problem with Ossining, every time something gets burned out or knocked down, it doesn't get replaced. It's not cost affordable for that. So you can't justify the cost of rebuilding something like this. These people collect their insurance, just keep on going down the road. But this is a beautiful building. It's with all these pillars and stuff like that. But these shots just give you such a nice. It gives you essence of what Ossining was like. Here you have all the wagons being pulled with their goods and stuff like that.
Which one was the movie theater?
Movie theater?
That was up on the
That's
other
up on
side.
the
On the other side of the
On
street.
the other side?
Yeah, that's Victoria Theater. So that'd be up by the. I can show you. There's one shot that had you just see the corner of the sign on it. So we'll get to that. But that's on the other side, up by Church, just at the base of Church Street.
How far down is this from where, is that A.L. Myers building there?
No, this is on,
that's
that A.L.
on the-
Myers building is on the Lower Main Street.
This is.
Oh, okay.
This
Yeah,
is
so
north.
this is, okay,
This is
here,
north.
you have the Five
Okay.
Corners down in here, Central Avenue, Main, Spring Street, so you're going up the street a little bit. So it's about halfway, where that parking lot is, where they have a fence in it.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yeah, we have the painted fence.
Yeah, right, and that's where that is. 33, here we are again at the, at Pleasant Square. Here you have the statue. So this puts it in front of 1900, 1910.
The hollow is,
Yep, the hollow's going down this way, this is Croton Avenue going up this way. Look at those buildings that are just gone.
Are they all gone?
No, not all.
No, this one is still there, isn't that?
That might be Keenan House.
That's either Keenan House or the Collier, the
Yeah.
clothing store.
Right, I'm not sure which one.
Yeah.
it gets confused there, the Midas building, which used to be insurance right down here, then you have Broadway going right down the street. But you can just, there's a fountain right here, but you can't see it in this one. That's a nice shot, because you just see, again, you see all the architecture and all the buildings that are just going on. Here you have the church, the First Baptist Church, up on Church Street in Maine. There's a Spring Street right here, and there's a Fauché building. Nice, look at the shot. You have people in the windows, stuff like that. The Washburn drugs and medicines. The advertisement was great. But it's, again, there's some beautiful architecture that's lost forever. If that ever does get rebuilt, it'll be a square box again. You just lose great architecture through all this. Go to wall 4.
Yes, fantastic.
Again, this,
Yeah, no, I'm still.
Then when you're ready, Steve.
It's nice that you-
March in progress.
Okay, go ahead, John.
Again, this painting is at the base of my house, as I've shown you. The trains went in about 49, they were finished by 52. The change avenues of everything. There's, a lot of houses used to be down by the river, like my great-great-grandfather's house was down there, and then after he passed on, nobody would move into it because of all the soot and the noise from these trains would rattle the buildings, take your teeth right about out. And that was always brought up, I didn't anybody move into this beautiful house, and it's just too close. It was probably 20 feet from the tracks. And it was around the corner down just by the factory. But all these paintings always show you a lot of boat activity. There's so much boat activity on the river. The river was our throughway, our highway. Here we have the Steamer Fire Company, which is still there. That building's still there. Ossining Arts Council is resident in the upper floor right now.
Hey, all right.
Great. But here you have the police headquarters and the fire company. Like I said, that building's there, but they changed the upper facade. It's more of a flat roof, which is too bad, because you look at this beautiful architecture again.
Yeah.
But it costs so much to replace that. Number 37, of course, I had to put a couple of my paintings in, but I didn't have much in the way of good stuff for the river. And this is a sample I did for a customer that wanted a large painting from the river. But this is from Engle Park, pretty much, down by the Ossining Boat and Canoe Club. And that's the sunsets we get. I sat down, I did some sketches, took some shots, and catch that sunset. We're sitting on a jewel of the river. I mean, it's just like, we have one of the most beautiful parts of the Hudson River, and it amazes me why we don't utilize it more. But the painting I ended up doing for this person, I've been putting a beach in front of it, because she said, well, I love putting my toes in the sand. I go, well, I'll get rid of the docks, I'll put a beach there for you. That's nice.
The magic of art.
Yeah, artist license. Yep. Robert Havel was he did a lot of hand coloring for Audubon. He also did a lot of engraving for him. He had his family business, and so when he moved here, he had sold his business over in England, and he came here. And the reason why he moved to Ossining area on the Hudson River, because of the diversity of the land, of the type of trees we had, which gave you diversity of birds. So it was a painter's paradise. I mean, this is more like up by, and it's hard to say because there's artistic license in it, but probably up by where Church Street and Highland Avenue are. Now keep in mind, back then there was only a couple of roads in town. And we'll see that on a few right angle, I can really explain that. But this is probably Highland Avenue, or we also refer to as the Croton Turnpike, which butted up to the Highland Avenue, then you went down the street down the river. This is a copy rose, and this painting is so popular. Havel did so many paintings in this area, and not as well known as you think he would be. But this painting is currently at the Hudson River Museum. It belongs to the Ossining Historical Society, and like I said, we are reproducing it for sale, framed or unframed. This is one of a series of paintings, number 39, a series of paintings I'm doing for a gallery to see. And it's basically life on the Hudson River. This one is net fishing. It's right around Sparta, based on the information I've dug up. And it's looking north on the Hudson. And here you have the net fishing. They used to put the posts in the water, put the nets in there. Fish get caught them. They go out there, they pull the nets in, unload them, untangle the nets, and put them back in. The Hudson River was full of fish. You had the shad roe, world famous shad roe. A lot of the shad from our river were taken out, and they were put out in the west coast. They were put down the Chesapeake Bay. Our shad was so much superior to everybody else's. It was so in demand. And of course, we eventually polluted the river up enough so the shad didn't come up the river. But now they're coming back up the river. So it's wonderful to see this, because by the 70s, this river was basically dead. So it was horrible, horrible thing. Yeah, it's nice, very nice colors in it. Nice St. Paul thing. St. Paul's Church is still where St. Paul's Church is. That's down between State and Spring. And also, you can date this about 1900, you have the wooden building next to it. That church, is still, a lot of people don't realize it's still, you go down to St. Paul's Place, and that church still, you still have the rectory there and such.
The rectory's on the other side of the
Yeah,
street.
yeah. Another beautiful building, but if you don't know it's there, you go right past it.
That's converted to a private residence now, isn't it?
The
The
rectory?
rectory?
I don't think so.
No,
It's still
no,
right.
the church is active.
Oh, yeah. Here's a indelible map. This is the earliest one we have. This is 1802, and this came out of the Slater collection. As you see, the Slater stamps are on it, but obviously it came out of a big book, hand done, hand colored, and it was actually down by Sparta, but he was calling it Delaville. So I think he was thinking that whole area was going to be called Delaville as opposed to Sparta. You know, so kind of funny that way, but it's a nice map. It's, like I said, it's the earliest one we have. Yeah. All hand done. There's a lot of copies of that, but this is one of the original ones. Here we get the piece I was telling you about before about the high school. Here's a nice shot, number 42, a nice shot of the high school lawn, probably about 1930 or so. Beautiful lawn, you know, beautiful piece of architecture also, all those nice brick and stone buildings. I'm going to jump a little bit of the 44. This is Carswell, that's General Aaron Ward's building. Like I said, he was a lieutenant general in the War of 1812, became our governor, was very prominent with a lot of presidents. We have a lot of letters at the archives of presidents writing back to him. But where this building was on this side of the high school. Route 9 is down here, or Highland Avenue. They knocked that down to put this in its place. And that's what baffles me, is the architecture. Because here you have a person of high importance. And also, this building is completely made of Sing Sing limestone or Sing Sing marble.
Block on block.
And I don't know what they did to it, but they knocked it down. They probably just got rid of everything, honestly. And we have a lot of pictures of the inside of this place. It's just fantastic. The wedding parties there, all things that, again, you're a very prominent person, and that would have been a tourist attraction and a half. And just like Hyde Park has their buildings, this would have been the same type of thing. History sometimes baffles me. Number 45 is our Ossining Hospital. This is probably around 1900.
Where was that?
That's down off of Spring Street. And Spring Street, so this Ossining Hospital, there's a new Ossining Hospital. Now, I like this shot. My mother, when I was born January 5th, 56, my mother had to literally sign herself in because they were moving to Phelps Hospital at the time. On January 7th, they had the ribbon cutting for Phelps Hospital. But if you look at this shot, here's the old Ossining Hospital. Same place. This is now Star Bethlehem Church. This got knocked down, I think in the late 80s or 90s. And that's a beautiful building too.
So you were born in that hospital?
Yeah. One of the last ones, I don't know if the last one, but in the last day or so. But yeah, like this gorgeous architecture, right? I used to drive by there and said, somebody should do something really cool with that. And overlooking the river like that, it's, again, baffles me. Number 47. This one, when we blew it up, I found some interesting details there. Besides the Republican Party, of course, a lot of people do know that Republicans and Democrats, they're not the same. They've actually reversed themselves of what they are now. But this one, when you blow it up, you start looking at it with magnifying glass. Here you have Prohibition headquarters. Wow. Well, this is Lower Main Street. This is looking towards Upper Main Street, so you're looking east. So you're going up the street. Right, Prohibition headquarters. Here you have a club, a sample room. There's a lager beer sign. There's another sample house. There's another sample house.
What's
and
a sample house?
It's a beer. It's a tap room. And here's Ossining Hotel, and that had a bar in it also. So they kind of put themselves right in the right place. Prohibition headquarters, save the world.
Been a few of those.
It's a tradition.
Yeah.
And okay, and there's the five, this is the
Yep.
five
Yeah. This is the
corners.
five corners. Look at right in the
there.
five corners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And so this would be about 1890
This
because
is-
there's no tracks here.
this is 125, 127, which we're in.
Yeah.
125, 123, where the little cafe is in now. And right here is the old A.L. Myers building.
Okay.
Oh, okay, thanks.
You know,
That's,
I'd love to see somebody do something nice with that. Yeah.
we are on our way.
Are you? Are you?
Well, we're,
Okay.
the commission is really having, got the architect to
Yeah.
maintain the
Right.
facade
Yeah, they're beautiful. The ones who took the plywood off all the
and
buildings there.
reveal they are going to maintain and preserve
Yeah,
and restore the glass facade.
right. That goes gorgeous.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've
Gorgeous
been
stuff.
inside there. My dad worked there a lot of
Yeah.
years ago.
Yep.
Wolf family.
Number 48 is the First Baptist Church. This is about 1870, and this is Church Street. This comes around, that's Main Street here.